Welcome to Digital Asset Report, powered by FinTech TV. My name is Kavita Gupta.
And I'm Vince Molinari, and we are thrilled as always to have the pleasure of broadcasting for the New York Stock Exchange.
Vince, who's the surprise guest today?
Oh my, I can't even say, it's so excited, you have to say it, but
Come on.
Maroon 5, Jesse Carmichael. What an interview.
I mean, so humble. I was actually hoping to get some rock star vibe.
Well, you know, when you're such a rock star that you can be so humble, that is the arrival destination. I mean, What a beautiful person.
And a testimony of how decentralized technology, crypto, blockchain is really impacting everyone and getting them influenced by creating an NFT to really actually help pyramid.
Well, I just have to say it. I am so impressed with the leadership and the selflessness of Maroon 5 to step forward and do this in a manner where they're not enriching themselves, right? This DAO component combined with an NFT to move climate initiatives forward in the benefit of our planet. Kudos, well done.
Absolutely. I hope you really enjoyed this interview. Our guest today is someone whose music you must have heard when you were on a date, when you went to buy the first flower, or like just those days when it's raining outside. But what we're going to talk to him today about is how technology is changing artists' life. Very excited to welcome Jesse Carmichael, whom you know from Maroon 5, an amazing artist. And now let's welcome him to the world of crypto with his NFT. Hi, Jesse, how are you doing?
Hi, doing good. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you so much for joining us on Digital Asset Report. Jesse, let's start from early because I want to come down to NFT, but let's start from the first story. You have been an incredible international artist. What has been your journey into the art community? Because I know you had first band, you dropped, and then you started the second band. Let's talk about your journey into the space.
We've been lucky enough to be playing music together since we were kids. We started our first band in 9th grade in high school and played all throughout high school and had a failure as our first band and then kind of regrouped and started Maroon 5 in the early 2000s and have been able to kind of span these gaps and growth spurts in technology. So we've seen everything happening on the internet related to music, from Napster to all the social media sites coming up. And so here we are in 2021 and excited about this next phase of decentralized, interesting, unique digital artwork assets.
So let's talk about the technology and the music. Decentralized and centralized. What has been the biggest gap for you as an artist? I know most of the producers talks about tickets, but as an artist, where did you see the gap?
Well, you know, our band is part of the system that has existed for a long time, with major labels helping artists develop, and we've benefited from that. And so there's sort of this old model that we're a part of, and then there's a space that's ahead of us for new artists who aren't signed to major labels. And it'll be interesting to see what happens now with new companies coming up, trying to kind of allow these artists to reach out with their music more directly to their fans, to be able to track their royalties on their IP, and everything from, like you said, ticket sales to merchandise. It's going to be an interesting world to watch it unfold. But we are excited about the NFT space because we're treating it like an art project for the band. And as we're going to talk about, I'm sure, not just a single piece of art, but something bigger like a community where our fans can be involved with something kind of special and exciting.
So that's the big news, Maroon 5 dropping their NFT. And I remember while talking to you, you said that the whole idea came to you while listening to a podcast. So let's go there. Why did that idea really struck a chord with you?
Well, I remember, like all of us, we probably have some memory not too long ago of hearing the term NFT and going to look it up and see what it meant. And I went down the rabbit hole of researching this over the last 6 months really was my timeline of getting involved in the space. And my cousin, who's involved in finance at a firm called Invesco, sent me a podcast by A16Z where they were talking about NFTs, and they brought up this concept of the DAO. And it really got me thinking about what we could do with our fan base, which is all over the world. And our band has always been interested in charitable things, and we're very concerned with climate change. So this all of a sudden kind of gave birth to this idea of a charitable DAO, and the idea that we could invite our fans to buy into an organization, and the money that they use to buy the NFTs that grant them access to the DAO will be the pool of funds that we can use for charitable aspects of things that are interesting to the band. Right now we're going to focus on climate change, but later it could be anything, and it's going to be interesting to watch how this can kind of become more of a community-based charity fund.
This is very exciting because a lot of people do NFTs, like the famous people. The NFT was more about his work going out there and making that money for his community. Then you have a platform like Dada, which have been actually one of the first one to create DAOs for the whole artist community to get some money based on any sold pieces from their platform. So the idea to create an NFT for charity, for something which you don't want to go and raise money but be a very self-sustained fund, is very exciting and one of the very new forward-thinking platform. Didn't the idea come that let's try NFT for maybe more revenues for the band, or like ticketing or something like that, instead of directly going to charity?
Well, we kind of thought about both at the same time, and our longtime friend Sage Vaughn did the album art for this new album of ours, Geordie, that just came out. Sage's artwork seemed to be a perfect pairing for the world of NFTs and the band, because he's one of our favorite painters. He'd already kind of gone out in the NFT space himself. And another thing that I heard about in that podcast was the idea of changing NFTs. And so we came up with the idea of a living NFT, which is going to be subtly morphing as time goes on, linked to something called carbonmonitor.org, which is a way that we can monitor carbon in the atmosphere all around the world. And as that number goes up, we'll have more fungal growth in this floral picture of ours, because our album artwork is based on nature, and mushrooms are going to be a part of helping to fix climate change problems. So that was our solution to the carbon number going up. And if it starts going down at all, then we'll have more floral aspects appearing. So it's kind of an interesting gamified approach to buying NFTs, so that you can feel like you're invested in something and you want to help spread the word and get more people to buy in and have more money available in this fund to go out and do good things in the world.
Absolutely, and I love this concept of, like, on your website, the first one which is already dropped is like seed, and then it's slowly growing, right? There are different phases to it. What are all the phases?
Well, it started with the seed phase, which was just a week long, and now we're in the sprout phase, where people can buy in for a slightly higher dollar value. We start at $25, now we're at $50, and when the fund finally opens on September 1st, it'll be $75.
Wow.
But that's just to get those specific NFTs, and each one's a bit more complex and beautiful, and the final one for $75 will be the living NFT, and so that's what people can watch change over time. But we will also be opening it up at lower price points. Pay whatever you want, because we want to spread the word about this, and we want to have everyone be a part of it if they want to. So those NFTs will come in the future. And I'm very excited to see how it launches on September 1st. But right now we want to just get as many people involved as possible. So we're telling people to go to YH.io, which is the marketplace for Yellowheart, the company that's doing the NFT drop with us.
Very exciting. The other thing which I found incredibly different and in a very inspirational way is having people who are giving this money is also participate in decision making of how this money and where is this money going to be used. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, our fan club has always been called Strength in Numbers, and this is an idea that we love, the idea that community is capable of wonderful things. And I'm just right now in the middle of a great book that came out just recently called The Power of Giving Power Away, which I highly recommend.
Yep.
And it's about this concept of kind of letting people in to allow their strengths to help build the whole collective in different ways, as opposed to trying to control it rigidly from the top down. especially with something like a charitable space. We want people to feel like they have an ability to vote on where the funds are going to be used. And so the way it'll start is to have a website that you can access with your NFT token, and then you'll see proposals about different charitable ideas, and you can vote on them. Everybody who joins, no matter what price point they buy in, will have one vote. And it's about participating in the idea of choosing which charitable proposal is going to get the money. And everything's going to be super transparent on this site. So people will see all the money that's there. They'll see the management costs of setting up the website, and that's the only thing that will come out of the pool of money, and everything else will be all available to these different charitable organizations.
Wow, wow. And the core idea of blockchain and crypto has always been transparency or accountability. And I think that is the epitome of how you can really achieve it. Is it global? Has to be in USD, or people can use crypto to participate to have a more global representation?
You can absolutely buy in with crypto. They have several wallet options at the Yellow Heart store, yh.io. And for people who don't have crypto wallets, they can buy in with a credit card by going to the yh.io store and finding the extension that you have to put on Chrome. There's certain limitations. You can't use American Express, I believe, for some reason, but all this will change as their platform kind of moves into the mobile world later in the year. Yellow Heart is very interested in the world of ticketing, and so that's what they're focusing a lot of their efforts on, and moving into the mobile app space so that people can buy tickets for shows with total confidence that they're not getting a scalped ticket. They're going to have a specific blockchain stamp on their ticket. And then there's interesting things that would happen in that world, just like in the art world, where if you sell that ticket, then some of the profit goes back to the band. And so everything is kind of linked to the artists that are putting out the thing that people want to buy. And I think that's such a cool new thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know so many friends of mine who have been due for super expensive black market tickets for various musicians. And it's fun for us to make joke on their expense, but I'm sure that night wasn't the really good night for them when they were not able to get in after paying the money.
No.
So you're starting with these art pieces. Are there going to be other type of products which is going to be part of this, or it's always continue to be art pieces?
That's a good question. You know, Yellow Heart also worked with Kings of Leon on their NFT drop, and they put some perks attached to their NFTs that were more real world perks, like backstage visits, ticket packages
I'm
that
bidding
came
for
with
that.
buying. Yeah, exactly. Who knows what we'll do? It's an interesting thing. I told you about one of my favorite composers, Junkie XL, who just put out an NFT that's a soundtrack to your life, where whoever bids the highest amount will get an interview with this composer, and he'll write a 20-minute piece of music about their life.
Yeah, I actually heard, and this is an experiment which Devin, the founder of OpenSea, and then I tried it, is 20-minute or 30-minute of your time, create it in an NFT and put it in the market. And Hassan Minaj recently did that, not in an NFT, but just his time, and people bid crazy amount of money. I think some guitar or keyboard class from you for 30 minutes could really add that value on your climate impact fund.
Yeah, I'm interested in that for sure. So we will definitely be putting out things like that are more unique, personal interaction type perks based on that.
Much more on the digital asset report when we come back.
Hi, I'm Brahim Al-Husseini.
And I'm Alexandria Villasenor.
And this is The Price of Climate, powered by FinTech TV. We live in a closed sphere. It has a very delicate life support system that we've disrupted because of modern human civilization.
I think it's really important how this show is bringing together all sectors of our society, which I think is very important when talking about climate change.
The warmer the planet gets, and the more we disrupt the planet, and more that people are going to pay the price.
You can't hurt the planet unless you first hurt people.
We want innovators in all these four different tracks to come up with solutions.
how can we sustain our natural resources, as I could see that we were overusing them.
This is going to be a very interesting conversation where we just cover multiple different areas of the climate crisis.
We can bring activism, the business community, government, and all stakeholders together to solve this problem.
First off, of course, it's horrible what is happening to our planet, and a lot of young people are seeing what's happening, and it's really upsetting. When we are fighting for climate action and climate justice, we're not just fighting for future generations, we are also fighting for every living species on this planet.
It's just an idea, but even when your product's going to end up, these NFTs will definitely end up in secondary market liquidity, right? And it should, because that's what the whole beauty of open, free-flowing market at the global scale for the assets. The thought which came in my mind, which I know some of the people have been thinking of experimenting, but could be great for Maroon 5 token, for NFTs, sorry, is how about building a particular percentage back to the charity every time there is secondary, tertiary, or number of times sale for the same product which is created by you from Yellow Heart. And that could be built in by the original owner. That will not only help to trigger whether it is original, it's a true piece or not, but it will also keep on building your DAF or whatever is the non-profit structure is.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, that kind of smart contract, built-in technology that allows things to be preset and then just happen as soon as the secondary market sale goes on is very exciting. And I think that could be cool not only for the DAO NFT tokens that we're selling, but also just for our artwork NFTs as well. So we'll discuss that with Yellow Heart for sure.
Yeah. And Jesse, any plans touring and dropping NFTs?
We don't know yet what the next year of touring is going to be like, but I think starting next year we'll be more international with our touring. Our first U.S. tour starts here in August, and it's going to be an interesting thing to watch what it's like to go back out into the public after this strange year we've had in 2020.
And you're going to integrate some sort of a QR code before or after the program, right? After your shows?
Yeah, there's a lot of creative ways to get people directed towards the NFT marketplace. I think QR codes is one of them at our shows, out on the streets, people could see it kind of built into certain walls, spray painted into artwork, bus stop ads.
Jesse, Africa has a continent which has been so ahead with respect to financial inclusivity, skipping the whole landline scheme to directly going to mobile phones, and now even with crypto. And the adoption of crypto has been one of the first and the fastest one. And with respect to NFTs, the government of Nigeria has official NFT platform now. And this has been, which has completely taken the market by not only by surprise, but also being the benchmark. How do you see, do you have plans specifically for Africa, any country, or how do you see really having that community be part of your Maroon 5 NFT tokens?
Well, we do want to spread the token all around the world and get people involved from every country out there, because we're all in this climate change mess together. And I'm a very optimistic person. I like to look at something like the crypto space and imagine futures where we're using alternative energy sources like waterfalls and ocean currents to power data centers that are just able to, be in the middle of nowhere and send their information up to satellites, as opposed to having to move energy around to cities that need it. So there's a potential for something very environmentally friendly to come out of this crypto space. And so I hope that the big players are looking at these scenarios and starting to think about how we can transition.
Absolutely. And I think there is a long time due trip to Africa. And I think dropping some NFTs to support so many charities happening in Africa, which can really help the grassroots, could be a best way to showcase it, not only to the government, but some of the biggest players out there, that why it is needed.
Right, and so that's an aspect of this Maroon 5 charitable DAO, which I think people know you can go to check out at yh.io. And if you buy into this DAO, the money you use to buy the NFT goes into a pool. And then everybody who's a part of that community has the ability to participate and vote on which proposals will get passed and which charities will get funded. And so we can do things that are specific to different countries around the world, and we can have a proposal just for that country or just for one city somewhere. And if enough people in that city buy a token and get involved, then something could be funded for their community. So it's going to be very site specific moving forward.
A real democratization process, and that's why I think more and more people from a region, from a city is going to be part of it. They would be able to get more money towards the things which really matter for climate in their local neighborhoods. Jesse, thank you so much, not only for being with us today, but also showing that inspiration and that path to a lot of amazing artists and influencers across the world that good can be done using technology in a very transparent way. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome to FinTech TV, home of Exponential Voices, a global media platform for digital assets and sustainable investing.
My name is Kavita Gupta.
And I'm Vince Molinari, and we are so pleased to be back at the New York Stock Exchange.
Headquartered in New York, where we are constructing a state-of-the-art broadcast studio, along with our studio stock exchange partners at the NYSE, NASDAQ, and LSEG, among others. Plus correspondents and contributors all over the globe. We reach 850 million households globally, with a unique blend of online viewership and traditional TV networks. Our signature shows the Digital Asset Report, focused on the global ecosystem of blockchain, digital assets, financial tech evolution, and legislation and regulations surrounding the sector.
I guess my question to you then is, A, are you a believer that Bitcoin is the, I don't want to call it the Holy Grail?
The way I think of Bitcoin is a global currency. Individual countries will continue to have their stable coins.
And The Impact, a show focused on credible social entrepreneurs, impact investors, family offices, and the grassroots warriors amplifying the needs and progress of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Plus ongoing special series. Pat Mitchell, Dangerous Women Leading Onward. Roy Wood Jr., Faces of Race. SSE TV, UN Sustainable Stock Exchange Initiative. Price of Climate. Unique content on a global media platform. This is FinTech TV.